It's down to one putt for the win. Is it his time?
Hello, TL2, emotional
Cameron?
support animal of the Great Bogey Podcast.
Cameron, hello. I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember typing that in. To be honest with you.
I think you had it on our last one, so it's been
Okay.
there. It stays
All right.
there. So let me adjust a few things. Teddy, why don't you say something for the people? Just your quick synopsis of the weekend. What did you do this weekend? Did you play golf? Let's hear it.
I did not. Now that I think of it, I don't even know if I left my apartment. I watched a little bit of golf, browsed the mugshots, and just kind of waited for this for the last pretty much since Friday morning at like 7:30 a.m. I was waiting for this moment
to talk about the Friday morning that some professional golfers had.
And it kind of seems well, it just seems like it's kind of like an afterthought now. I think because he didn't win, it's not going to be like the best thing that's ever happened in the sport of golf.
Yeah, I would agree. Like if Scotty was lifting up the Wanamaker trophy instead of Xander, it'd be like this guy was in jail 48 hours ago.
I mean, just especially after he shot like 66 on Friday, like afterwards, like it was just set up for him to just go nuclear on the weekend.
Yeah, just shoot another round of 66 on Saturday and then again on Sunday, and he wins by 3 or whatever. Yeah.
And just
I thought it was going to happen. I mean, if you're not rattled after, getting out of jail and then an hour and a half later, you're hitting your first tee shot on the round of golf at the PGA Championship, I'm like, yeah, he's going to win. Like, what are we talking about here?
That's something that I feel like some people that we were kind of speaking with about all of that happening and then coming back to shoot like 66. A lot of people were capping on the fact that it's not a big deal and they wouldn't be distracted by it. Like, how do you think you would have responded just on a regular Saturday round if let's say you got a speeding ticket and then had to go tee off? I mean, do you think you would have been able to concentrate?
Speeding ticket, yes.
Okay.
Speaking from very minimal experience of very minimal time spent in a jail cell, I would have been shook if that was me, being in a holding cell for an hour and a half, 2 hours, then like directly to the golf course on just a Saturday round. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never, like, it's not even competitive. I may not even know the people I'm playing with.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, probably just not able to stop thinking about the future repercussions of what happened. That being said, I agree. Like to an extent, like Scotty is well off. He has probably never experienced anything like that. He's probably going to have a pretty easy situation to clear up here. It seems like reports already coming out that like, yeah, these charges are going to get dropped, which is what I said from the beginning. I said, there's no way any of this sticks. Like, it's just the situation from both sides is like, it seems like there was a cop telling him to do one thing and a cop telling him to do another.
I mean, I agree, and props to him for just being able to stay focused and keep that same thought where this isn't a big deal. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter. I just need to focus. And he was able to do it. I know personally, there's no way that I would have been able to. It's like, was it just one felony or two felonies? I think it was two felonies. It doesn't, one felony, and then.
Yeah, just the assaulting the police officer. Okay. Just assault.
Right. Just the assault. And maybe he just has a lot of confidence in the judicial system, but there's no way regardless of how in the right I would have felt, I don't think I would have been able to put that behind. One, I don't think I would have been able to be so confident in the fact that I was going to be getting out in time for my tea time and just start stretching in my jail cell. I definitely wasn't going to be able to do that.
I gotta imagine the vibes that the police officers were giving him and the intake people and all that at the jail were like pretty loose for him to like do that. He said he had like the cops sit with him for like a half hour so he could just like chill out. Like that doesn't happen to just like normal people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once they had him in the back of that cop car on the way to jail, somebody told him like, "Hey, you just arrested the #1 golfer in the world." This is kind of like a high stake situation. You know what I'm saying? But I agree. Like the fact that he just came out, like if I thought about it, I was like, it would be super funny if like Scotty just goes up to his first ball, you know, like on the tee, sets up, does everything, and then just like backs off, and then like, then you could say like this dude's rattled, like he's done. No, he just hammers it down the fairway. I'm pretty sure he made birdie on his first hole out. Like nothing ever happened. Yes, Taylor Wayne. Quick comment. Taylor Wayne Siegel says we're missing someone. We are. Justin had a tournament with his daughter today. I think they had a bit of a drive. He may be able to join a little later, but for now, it's just Cam and Teddy here. We appreciate you offering to join from the tub, but we're gonna pass for now. TWS.
I do just want to say that like a couple of months ago, there's a course down the street from us, and it's like it's going to be a retirement community, and
like the Villages retirement community, or
no,
like
not that, just
retirement?
a little like private. It's going to turn private once they build up all the homes and stuff. But it's 25. It's I don't know, maybe 2 miles to the clubhouse once you pull in, and it's 25 miles an hour. I was going 30, and a sheriff pulled me over as I'm like going 30, and went through the whole thing, took my license and everything, told me to slow it down, and all that stuff. And it probably took me 5 holes to get like comfortable, just for the 5 minutes I was in my car thinking, I can't believe I'm about to get a ticket for going 5 over. And even though I guess technically I was in the wrong, but like I was going 5 over. It's not a big deal.
5 over. Yeah.
But it still took me 5 or 6 holes to get that out of my mind. Like, I can't believe I was just pulled over as I just pulled in. Meanwhile, Scotty had a felony and 3 other.
Yeah, felony charge, felonious, and 2 other misdemeanors. It's not like he must. I guarantee he had a conversation with that exact cop, right? That latched himself onto his car. Had to get some reassurances from the department, like, "Hey, we understand the situation now." Because the report from the ESPN guy was like, this all happened very quickly. Like the incident happened, and then he was on his way to jail like within minutes. There wasn't like any sit down, nothing.
Typically, isn't the arresting officer, isn't that who usually takes them to jail?
No, I would have to imagine if we'll call it a physical altercation, there's going to be another officer taking him than the one who was AKA hurt or involved in what have you.
Okay. Understood.
Because, emotions are high. Like you got to keep them separated. Like if you and I get in a fight, right, we're probably not going to go get put in the same car to go to our tea time or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Terrible comparison, but I got to imagine it wasn't the cop who was dragged.
Okay.
Quote unquote. That took him to the jail. We do have Tom Hyde in the chat. He may have some extensive experience.
Yeah, Tom, could you please, or Taylor, either of them could probably shed some light on that sort of question.
So we'll keep an eye on the chat, Tom, for your expertise on police interactions. But yeah, Scotty, I mean, that was not the news I was expecting to wake up to on Friday morning.
No, it's just we were texting quite a bit, and I told my coworkers on Friday. So this happened at, well, it was like 6:30, when everything started to come out. I get to work at like 7:45. From 7:45 to about 8:45, I didn't do anything related to my job. It was strictly following the reports and looking at all of the memes coming out of this
Yeah.
and any different camera angles about the incident, and also any updates on what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was a very exciting Friday morning for me personally.
I was just I think I was most shocked when his mugshot came out and he was actually in like a jumpsuit.
Right.
Like I was when my minimal experience of when I was detained and arrested.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a holding cell for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And not once were they like, yeah, dude, you're gonna put on a jumpsuit. So maybe they didn't know who they had arrested until after his mugshot.
He also was probably decked out in his Nike gear and everything, and so I'm wondering if that was why maybe they gave him the jumpsuit, or if he asked to be put in a jumpsuit just to keep any logos out of it. Or anything like that. I mean,
maybe he took his polo off, his hat off, and he had his pants and shoes on and stuff. Still,
right?
just
yeah,
that makes sense.
Like that.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Tom Hyde confirmed. I was transported by a different cop than the arresting one every time.
Every time? Okay. All right.
And like I said, it's probably what offenses it is. Tom, I think he's a scrapper, so it wouldn't surprise me if he,
this guy's tatted up.
Blow to blow with a few cops. He's got knuckle tats.
Shaved head. But
really
also,
nice guy if you like him and if he likes you.
How big is that sample size, though? So we have you once, Tom. I mean, how many times?
3, 4? Tom, how many times have you been arrested? We're getting way off track here, but that's okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Guys, quick plug. Go follow us on YouTube and Spotify, The Great Bogey Podcast. Today we're going to cover the PGA Championship. It's over. You know who won by now. Xander Schauffele takes down his first.
I haven't. I actually was recording it. I haven't finished watching it yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, Xander wins. He birdies the last hole to beat Bryson.
All right.
Which that kind of makes me want to segue into a first topic of conversation when it comes to golf, probably just the majors more so than just your regular old tournament. Do you have people that you actively root against, or is it more of a heat of the moment like, oh, I see Bobby Mack's gonna be in the mix on Sunday. I don't want to root for Bobby Mack.
It just sort of not necessarily anybody specific. I think it's more of like the story. So when everybody was teeing off today, it was, I would like to see Xander win, but I would like more so for him to collapse as we are accustomed to and see somebody else. And then furthermore, maybe not to say McIntyre's a no name, but somebody else that is a popular player, whether that be Justin Thomas or Morikawa or Thigala.
Well, just JT would have been great, hometown, guy. He sucked. He has sucked bad this year. So he came out, he performed. I think he was 13 under. So that's probably tied for 10th, 13th, something like that.
Tied for 8th or 9th, I think. It was top 10.
It's not like we have data golf right up here on the screen that we could tied for 8th with Bobby Mack and Billy Horschel. Low key, like if he would have maybe had another round where he shot 66 compared to 69 and he was like coming down the stretch, I probably would find myself rooting for him because he's a longtime PGA guy. A lot of people don't like him. He's done some YouTube things though that I've watched that I'm like, this guy's not so bad.
You're talking about Billy?
Yeah, Billy Horschel.
Yeah.
But today specifically, I was kind of like with you. I'm like, a lot of guys over the last few years have said Xander's built for majors, right? Built for majors, but he's never closed it out.
Just not. Before today, the comparison, at least for the early parts of their careers, it was similar to like Phil Mickelson, right? Where it was never able to win. Although Phil had a lot more runner-ups, I think, than than Xander had, at least up until this point.
I think I heard on a competing podcast that Phil had like 8 top threes before he won his first major.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that. And it's like, oh wow, like you don't think about that because Phil's won 6 majors at this point, you know.
But as far as Xander being the first round leader in a major, I mean, that's pretty easy money up until now. Now I don't know how he's going to respond in the first round, just because he hasn't had that want.
So who had the second round lead?
It was still Xander.
Did he ever lose it? So he went wire to wire?
I think he did go wire to wire.
Or does that count when you're tied? Because you came in tied today with
that I'm not so sure.
I'll be honest, I kind of hate the term co-leader.
What do you mean?
It's a singles tournament. Like you don't have the co-lead, you're just tied for first.
Yeah, sure. I guess I'm not too sure where you're going with this, but
I don't know. It's the thought I had in my head earlier today. Anyways,
that you don't. Well, whatever. Let's move on.
So today I found myself. I'm like, this is really hard leaderboard because I've always liked Bryson. When it was Bryson versus Brooks, I was on Team Bryson. He's also become just a more likable person, I think, for the general golf community over the last few years after he's really toned down the whole beefing up, trying to hit the ball 900 yards, for no reason. And then you had Victor Hovland too. Like he's also one of the more likable dudes who's been struggling. Switched back to his coach Mayo in his first tournament with him, solo third in the PGA Championship.
It's crazy.
I think I saw a report like somebody asked him like, when did you notice like differences once you move back? He's like within the first 30 minutes of going back to his coach. So it's like, why'd you do it anyway? Like what happened to where you decided you wanted to move on?
I mean, I think with some of those guys, obviously Tiger famously switched, several times. I think it's just the constant chase for something better in that next level.
Next step or that next jump or that next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also it could be, I mean, if you're, especially these guys, they are playing and practicing so often that, sometimes you just need a change.
Yeah.
And it kind of just will refocus. I mean, I feel like your coach can do that, especially these guys that are coaching tour players, but it might just be just a different voice or a different set of eyes or something that, they're looking for to find something, even though there's nothing there.
Well, it looks like this set of eyes wasn't great for Victor because he's kind of sucked.
I would agree.
Especially he went back to back last year, won the tour championship, and then the tournament before that.
I mean, he had finally hit his stride and was winning. Was winning.
Like, you know what? We're done.
Yeah,
I need something.
Yeah, I'm not saying I agreed with it, but that could be what they're thinking, what's coming across their mind.
No, it makes sense.
But I think with Bryson, like he is still one of the longest players. That's playing professional golf. But yeah, he has toned it down a little. He's not trying to swing for the 430-yard drives.
He's not. He doesn't have 30-inch biceps anymore, or whatever. Like, right. He's slimmed back down. He's lost the 30 pounds of muscle he put on. He looks like a normal kind of golfer who.
Oh, he's wearing a normal hat now too. So maybe.
Yeah, and he's dipped. He's dropped the driver cap there. I don't know. I've always rooted for Bryson. Like it was a great leaderboard going into today. Where somebody could chase down Morikawa and Schauffele, which I mean, Bryson did his best. He went 7 under today to put himself, tied for the lead after 18 with that birdie putt. I
think when I was watching it earlier, like Bryson was starting to get on a heater. He was like 3 under through 6. And then on the par 5 7th, he missed like that, 6-footer for birdie. And once he missed that, I not necessarily wrote him off, but I just kind of figured like, okay, well, Bryson's probably not going to be the one to push. And honestly, I was shocked that Morikawa couldn't do anything today. Like
even
at all.
par, one bogey, and then he cleared it up with the birdie, I believe, on the next hole.
No,
It
he
was
birdied
15,
18.
16. It was
18
18
was
he
the
birdied.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Which,
so it's just par after par after par.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bogey 50? Was it 15 he bogeyed?
Yeah, he bogeyed 15.
16, 17 par, and then birdie 18.
That's not going to do it.
Yeah, not on a PGA Championship Sunday round.
No.
That's not going to cut it.
And when everybody else is filling it up with birdies.
Yeah, I mean, the low rounds, DeChambeau 7 under, Horschel 7 under, Scheffler went 6 under. Like, if he didn't poop his pants yesterday, like Scheffler would have just been right in the mix again. That leads me to a topic that I've been thinking about is like, how much does Ted Scott play into Scheffler's day-to-day success on the bag? I mean, there was one variable from Friday to Saturday, and it was the fact that Ted Scott wasn't on the bag.
I think, we were kind of giving Fleetwood props at Augusta, right, for not using his usual caddy, getting somebody local. I don't know if you can say, it would help, especially when it's just one round too. Like that somebody's filling in for. It's not like maybe 2 weeks of preparation going into it and kind of getting comfortable with that other caddy.
My understanding was that it's the PGA Tour chaplain. I don't know his name, but they like Scotty, Ted, and the chaplain are all like pretty good friends because of that faith kind of probably based, factor there. So I think they were familiar with each other, but how much has this guy caddied before? Has he seen Valhalla inside the ropes at any point? I don't know. It's just a question that I've been asking for the last 2 days.
And it might be, maybe not quite as big of a deal, just judging off how low everybody was able to go this entire week. It might have just been if you had, your stuff working or not, maybe not necessarily a caddy doing anything in particular. But maybe
it also speaks volumes to like Scotty Scheffler's like just talent and game right now. Like,
sure,
we're trying to figure out because we know it's not it's not him, obviously.
No.
It's something else.
But it could have been, maybe after everything on Friday, maybe then that's when everything settled. He finally probably talked to Meredith, talked to his lawyer.
I would love to know like the first conversation he had with his wife Meredith, like how that went.
Yeah.
Like, because I was playing it out in my head. I'm like, if this was me calling my wife, like, I really don't know how she would react to
and maybe like because he probably wasn't able to really. I'm sure he had like maybe one phone call. Tom Hyde, if you could just shed some light.
Yeah.
But who was that call? Was it Meredith? Was it somebody at the tour?
I gotta imagine his agent knew pretty quickly. Like somebody had to be with him, right, in the car.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about in the car. Oh, in his courtesy car. Yeah, agent or
somebody was like, okay, we're gonna call Meredith to tell her, and then we're calling like the mayor of Louisville to get on this. To say like I have to imagine he was brought into the mix right away because of just like it's the number one golfer in the world. Like it's Scotty Scheffler. It sounds like it was a big misunderstanding. Like I said, I don't have all the facts, but like I can't imagine like that first conversation with your wife after getting arrested really for anything is probably enjoyable.
Tuesday morning is the arraignment or court hearing, whatever it's called. But that's when that is. So
now he's also like, I got to stay here in Louisville for 2 extra days while you take care of our 2-week-old son.
Was this just an elaborate plan to get some extended time away from the wife and kid? Is that what this was?
That's crazy. It's not that bad, I don't think.
I would. I mean, you could speak to it. I probably can't.
The worst, the hardest, and the worst is the first night because you leave the hospital where they're all helping you. Right. And don't get me wrong, I got to imagine Scotty's got some sort of nanny or what have you at the house.
Family, probably.
Yeah, family at this point. But the first night it was mayhem, dude. I didn't sleep. I was like, Sarah, you can go to sleep because I'm not falling asleep tonight. Like, it's just not happening. So,
well, and then Sarah had to
um,
change in 2 diapers every
yeah, she was
morning
essentially
and every
taking
night.
care of both of us at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Scotty got arrested Friday, shot 66 on Saturday. He's built different. He came out 66 on Friday, came out Saturday, kind of didn't do anything, and he was 2 over at the end of the day. And today he comes out and shoots another 66 or 64 or 65, whatever it was.
65, yeah.
Yeah. Taylor Wayne, Tony Finau shot 1 under today. I had high hopes for him. He played well in the first 2 days and then kind of just fell off a little bit, it seems.
Well, and that's somebody you would think would be able to compete. I mean, we had touched on the fact that Bryson should be able to compete at a course like this,
the
right?
length factor, right?
The length, everything was going to be kind of, soft. And yeah, Tony should have been able to do something. I would say probably one of the bigger surprises that when you and I were texting yesterday, I think maybe Friday, but Justin Rose being up there, like that was, I didn't see that coming. Nothing led me to have any sort of thought that Justin Rose was going to finish top 10 of the PGA Championship.
And it seemed like he was like I guess maybe there's always like one of the vets, like this really seasoned vets who kind of finagle their way into the spotlight, right, on these major championships. And it was him this time. Yeah, I mean, Justin Rose was nowhere near my radar on any sort of picking. If anything, he probably crossed my mind to finish dead, DFL. Right. But no, he came. He found a little bit. He only went 2 under today, which wasn't going to cut it, at all.
No, he just couldn't really. I mean, he had a few birdies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birdies. Bogeyed 18. Not great. Probably one of the
very
only
few
people
bogeys.
to bogey 18. Yeah.
Victor Hovland, another one. 3-putted. Shout out to Victor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cam,
I didn't even. What was funny was when it looked low the entire way on his birdie putt. But I kind of stopped once I saw it miss low. I kind of I don't know, was scrolling on my phone or something and just kind of stopped paying attention. And then when I looked back up and saw him, I thought maybe it was like a different camera angle when he was putting for bogey. And I was like, wait, I thought he was putting for birdie. And then I saw the replay. I totally missed.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I totally missed that he had missed that par putt because it didn't look like it was very far. So what? I mean, did he just rush it? Like, did he just go to did we quickly tap it in?
Yeah, he's done it before, is what I was going to say.
Yeah,
he did it. I think it was 2 tournaments ago where he missed like a birdie putt, just walked up, tried knocking in his par putt, missed that one, and then I think he 4-putted the hole, which ultimately cost him the cut. I forget which tournament it was. It was fairly recent though. It's like that's how he's frustrated, right?
I mean, I still ended up solo third, so I guess it didn't really matter too much, but would have been tied for second, possibly, or solo third. I really thought he was gonna make that birdie putt because it was just a little uphill right to left. Just didn't get it done.
Yeah, I would have personally loved to see a playoff. I mean,
well, me too. That was the other thing. Xander,
I like a winning putt. Don't get me wrong. Like I like a winning putt, but I also like watching playoff golf with, especially in a major championship. It's like, this is what we want. This is what the viewer wants.
What was wild was Xander almost wanted to miss that putt. I mean, the fact that it went 270 degrees around the cup. It was also pretty firm. So I was kind of surprised that it stayed in the cup with that much speed. But I mean, how nervous do you think he was standing over that? Because he knows he's going to have to go in a playoff with Bryson. I'm sure he hears all of the chatter about him just blowing it on Sundays, especially in majors. And now you have what was it, 8 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet for birdie?
Yeah, probably less than 8 feet, probably more 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm making that 11 times out of 10. I don't know about you, but
on a practice green, yes.
Yeah.
I would say on 18.
Nobody watching me first thing out on the practice green. Yeah, I'm making that every time.
Yes. Last group championship
on the course on the first hole, blowing it by 4 feet. At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
That kind of brings me up, something else that the competing podcast I mentioned earlier was talking about with the Phil and Xander thing is like, does this kind of open up maybe I don't want to say the floodgates because I don't like that. It's super hard to win a major right now. But do we see Xander coming in? Is he top 10 in the next 2 this year? Does he win? Does he end up with more majors than Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy? What do we say?
I mean, you do have to consider, okay, it is a major. I'm not going to take that away or anything. However, it is probably the least sexy of the majors.
Mm-hmm.
Not that popular. So it could probably go one of 2 ways, I think. It could lead to some more major victories. He also, you have so many guys right now that, are stuck on 2, 3 majors.
4, shout out Rory.
Yeah. So, does this just kind of help him for the next, maybe 2, 3 years, get a couple more and then just plateau, kind of like Justin Thomas and Colin.
Spieth.
Spieth. I feel like Spieth and Rory, they're kind of on a separate level just because they were so, like, Rory's been competitive for it. His body of work is so much longer.
He's won like 18 golf tournaments since the last major he won. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's won a lot. And then Spieth, it was just kind of unfair the run that he went on for 3 years. Like
really both those guys. Like they were just
Rory
incredible.
too. Yeah, especially when he first came on. So it would be unfortunate if he just kind of stuck around and was just a betting favorite every week like Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa and just
I think I'm putting money on him like every major to be first round leader at this point.
It's an easy bet.
Yeah.
It's safe money.
I mean, 62. At the time there was 3 62s in a major. He had one of them. And he just promptly came out and added himself again to the list. And he's like Scheffler, right? It's like not exciting golf for a viewer watching on a TV screen. It's probably great to watch in person, right? But
just flushing it,
boring. He said it on like YouTube videos that you see him in. He's like, my entertainment is to play golf. Like, I don't need to be exciting about it. I just want to play it well. And that's what he does. Like he hits the fairway, then he hits the green, and then he makes the putt.
Sometimes he doesn't make the putt.
Yeah, it's not like he's hitting it 40 yards left of the fairway and making this incredible rough shot, Or he's not chipping in every other hole. It seems like a Spieth was back in the day, or even Rory. I mean, he was just hitting some incredible shots. Which he still does. Like Rory finds himself in trouble, and then all of a sudden he's 10 feet from the pin, putting for birdie again.
Just kind of there's a lot of hate for the course this week. I don't know if I think the leaderboard kind of saved it with some of these big names kind of competing for it, just because it was relatively boring especially for a major championship. You kind of want that 62 to be a little more memorable and not drowned out at all the other 65s and 66s. I
would say it also sucks that like he shot 62 and then the next morning Scotty Scheffler gets arrested.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Shane Lowry shoots 62 as well on Saturday.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the course? And I would think that you don't want 21 under to win a major tournament at any point.
No. I don't think, especially for a major championship, I don't think you want an absolute birdie fest. I think even if this was an elevated event, people would still have been complaining about how easy it is.
Mhm.
But I mean, keep in mind, these guys are the best in the world. They're gonna make
Right.
any course look easy, especially if it's, soft and they can attack it. I think just that course in general, like it's not super narrow. Yeah, they had the rough as long as they could get it, but it wasn't super penalizing. They were still able to, hit 9 and 8 irons into most of these greens. So they were able to get it up high enough, and hitting a low iron out of the rough, it's not too difficult for these guys.
Mm-hmm. I think it was after Friday, I saw somebody on X. They're like, I hope Pinehurst doesn't water for the next however many days it is to the U.S. Open after watching this birdie fest.
Yeah. I mean, and even
the last U.S. Open that was there, Martin Keimer is literally the only one who he was 9 under, I think, when he won. Mm-hmm. And then I think second was 3 under.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just completely separated himself from the field.
And luckily with the guys going low on Saturday, like it wasn't really Xander running away with it, thankfully. Mm-hmm. But that just would have made it so much worse, I think, if
he went 66, 62, 66, 66.
Yeah.
66, yeah. He'd have a 5-shot
it would have been
or whatever.
It would have been awful. But it didn't seem like the guys were having that hard of a time out on the course. There was no carnage, which for the PGA, it's not necessarily its tagline, but it seemed like for the last 10, 12 years, that's kind of what it was. That's what they were trying to make it, is like a mini US Open, and this didn't help.
It's at Quail Hollow next year. That's where JT has won his first PGA Championship, I believe. Probably going to be pretty similar, unless they do something. I don't really know what they could do. Valhalla just poured rain like the entire week before Saturday and Sunday. Like that's out of everyone's control.
And was there more like fescue there for like the Ryder Cup and everything? Like it just seemed like the course just didn't really have any teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I think they were very hopeful the rough was going to be more penalizing. Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, there's a few shots. Like I think Colin Morikawa had a lie in the rough where he was trying to hit it up to the green and just completely. I think it was like 40 yards up is where he ended up hitting into the fairway. There's a few of those, but there's not like guy takes a full swing and doesn't even move the ball out of it.
No. I mean, even when Lowry was going crazy, we were texting as soon as his drive was, just kind of ran off fairway and was into the rough, kind of near that waterfall. And, it didn't look like the best lie, but I even said like, yeah, he's still going to be able to hit it, with it.
Yeah. He still put it to like 12 feet and just missed the birdie putt.
Yeah.
He had a shot at 61. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor Wayne Siegel says, roll the ball back and take the grooves off the clubs. I have to imagine if these kinds of things don't stop, pros are always going to hit the ball far, right? Like,
and they're always going to hit it properly too. I think that's the other thing that people forget.
Yeah, their mechanics are sound, and they like rolling the ball back's really probably going to hurt the amateur, because I don't want to go out there and hit the ball 50 yet less yards. I can't afford to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's probably going to happen. I mean, who knows when? Like, it's not in the company's favor. Like, Titleist doesn't benefit from making more golf balls that don't go as far. They all market themselves on, we have less spin, so your ball travels further, and it's way softer feeling, it's way harder feeling. Whatever you like, we can make. We don't want to spend millions of dollars making a new product. So it'll be interesting to see where that whole thing goes in the next couple of years, I think, with rolling the ball back.
I agree. Speaking of rolling the ball back, how did your boy Block do? Where did he finish up?
He did great. He missed a cut.
No. Okay.
Was
Fair
it
enough.
Thursday where he literally went triple?
Yeah.
Or it was
No,
triple.
he made a yes, or a double quad or something. There was a
double
quad.
I watched his little shot tracker. I didn't watch it. I looked at the picture, and he was just going from one side of the green to the other. I'm like, I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
Been there. Check.
The People's Pro. That's pretty much how everybody else would play if we were out there. Yeah, it's fair. Who did do you want to go over some points for who we picked this week? Oh, is that your assistant?
Sorry, had a little visitor. Might be able to hear him now. Yeah, so let's go over our picks.
So we could start with the cut line. Cam, you had a 1 over as a cut. You were the first pick.
I felt pretty good about it too. Because when I woke up on Friday, after the whole Scotty Scheffler thing settled, and he was like on, I'm like, oh look, the projected cut is +1, and then a million people made a million birdies, and it just went lower and lower. I don't think it was a bad pick. It just didn't.
No. Justin picked 2 over.
And you
unfortunately, and I picked even, so I got a point. We're back on the board.
For the new listeners, we do a little closest to the pin action on this, kind of where if you're closest to the cut line, then you get the point. If you guess it right on, you get 3 points. So Teddy gets a point because it was +1, right? -1. -1. Yeah, -1.
-1.
So even wins that one. Point for Teddy. That puts you at 3 points total for the competition.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
3 points. 3 points. Still in last. Speaking of last, for dead last DFL in the tournament, I picked Luke Donald, who out of nowhere started to play some really good golf. I don't know what it is, but whoever I pick for finishing DFL, maybe put some money on them to win, because they're going to have
making the cut. At least
they're going to have terrible odds. For sure going to make the cut. Possibly going to do top 20, top 25. So just keep an eye out on my DFL picks. So I lost that one. Justin had Jimmy Walker, who
miscut, but played better than Tiger, played better than Michael Block, the People's Pro.
And then Cam, you had Padraig Harrington.
Yeah, Padraig Harrington. Shout out to Tim Hunt for giving me a hard time. He was all in on old Patty Harrington. And I said, you know what, Tim, you make me want to pick him even more, pal. And he was closest to being the furthest down from the cut line. I think he was like +10.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
+10 or 11 when the cut line came. So I get a point for that. That puts me at 6 points total. Yep, 3 + 2 + 1.
Yep.
All right, and then our winners. Who did we pick to win?
So you picked first, and you picked Rory, who
I felt good about it.
Yeah, wasn't a bad pick by any means.
He just had a pedestrian Saturday.
Just kind of took him out of it. Justin picked Scotty Scheffler. Safe pick.
We couldn't probably pick 3 safer picks, to be honest with you.
No. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Brooks has won the last 3 of 6, which is
that was
you picked.
Too. Yeah. Justin ended up getting a point for that one. He was the closest. Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty beat Rory by a stroke. Koepka had a nice day today. He was 5 under. He did like Rory, +2 yesterday or something like that. +1. He's over par.
Just can't do that. Not the way everybody else was playing. So Justin got he got a point as well. He is at 5.
So we all got a point.
We all got a point this week. I'm in DFL with 3 points. Justin is in second with 5, and then Cam, you are leading the pack at 6.
Yeah, picking the outright winner will really help you get some ground.
I agree. Maybe give me some picks.
Yeah. So we all tied. So maybe what we'll have to do for this next preview that we do with Justin is do just like a random.org kind of randomizer.
Oh, sure.
And shuffle it 3 times, and then whatever order it is on the 4th, that's what we pick. I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't looked at the schedule. What's coming up for the tour?
I don't know why you would ask that when we are ill prepared.
We didn't even talk about it. So we got the Charles Schwab in Fort Worth at Colonial.
Okay.
Oh, and then the RBC, which is usually I think a fairly good field, right?
Wait, what's after the
RBC
Colonial?
Canadian Open? Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say
not the RBC Heritage.
I think you're looking at the wrong calendar.
No, sorry. I should have just said the full tournament name.
Now, yeah, that should be a pretty good event. Not the Canadian, but the Charles Schwab.
No, you have those mixed up, right?
With the fields?
Yeah,
I disagree.
Well, I think maybe last year the Canadian Open was so great because Canadian actually won it.
That could have been it. That could have been it.
Well, then the Memorial after that at Muirfield.
That is.
Then we're right back to major.
That's an elevated event, I would imagine.
Yeah, are they doing that? Let me see. Yeah, it is. It's a signature, I believe it's called, pal. So it looks like, and I guess I just noticed this, they're doing signature events right before
Majors.
Yeah.
I guess, as far as scheduling goes, it puts a little more emphasis on the players playing the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make is the John Deere going to be a signature event this year? Is that what that means?
It looks like no, the purse is only $8 million. Hopefully Sepp Straka can go back to back and take it down again. I actually was kind of rooting for him this week. I don't know. He's just a big, lug of a man. I'm like, I kind of want to root for this guy going forward. Sepp. He's got a cool name too.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, Tiger missed the cut. That was a little disappointing. You were adamant that he was going to miss the cut. I had some hope.
I definitely didn't put $5 on him to even outright win. I didn't do that at all. I did. I'm lying.
Did you cash out after?
Oh, they were offering like a 3-cent cash out on a lot of my bets, and so I'll just let it ride. I don't need 3 cents.
That's fair.
So I would like to. So I played golf on Friday afternoon. Walked 18 at a place called Broken Tee. It's owned by the city of Inglewood. It's your typical muni, a few burnt out fairways that need some love and attention that aren't going to get it.
Inglewood's a rough area, right?
Yeah, in LA and in Chicago area, but not here. We're in Colorado, remember, Teddy?
That's right.
So 2 things. One of the par 5s, they had to shut down the tee box up to we'll call it 200 yards out of the hole because we had nesting bald eagles, which, are protected. They were nesting in trees that lined the fairway. So I think being city owned, maybe they were forced to. Anyways, it was turned into a par 3. We actually got to see one of the eagles. It was really cool. I'll send you the picture, Teddy. Maybe that'll be our thumbnail, the picture of the eagle on this one. Anyways, that was just really cool. You don't necessarily see bald eagles just chilling everywhere you go.
No. Does that mean, did you birdie that hole? Was it a good omen? Oh, okay.
No, let me backtrack. I did not play well at all.
Okay.
long story short, I was on the 18th tee after hitting my second ball off the tee because the other one was not going to be found. And I said, I can't keep doing this. I got to go get lessons. So luckily, later that night, somebody reached out about buying my 009 Teddy. Because when I sell that, I'm going to put some money into a set of individual lessons so I can stop swinging with my club face wide open.
Yeah, I mean that would help. Did you play? You didn't play any other time this weekend, did you?
No, I did not.
Just Friday.
But I wanna go to my second part of the round. Played with a good buddy of mine. Well, good buddy of mine, and then a friend of his who I've also become friends with, and then another gentleman. And my good buddy, when he puts a good swing on the ball off the tee, like he pokes it out there, pretty good. And we had a drivable par 4. I think we were doing the combo tees like 6,500 yards. We're hacks. Like, let's just not make it too much harder on ourselves. I think we had like 310 to the hole. It's actually hole number 1. This course does things a little weird that they'll send you off 10 with how the routing is. Like, you do 10 through 18, and then you do 7, 8, 9 because it's on the same side of the property. You cross back over the river, do 1 through 6. They do that like I think once a week or something. I don't know. But their scorecards for that day, they actually have like legit scorecards that go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyways, so it's hole 1. It's our 13th hole of the day, I think the math comes out to. And he hits his drive, and there's a bunker right in front. It hits like the bunker rolls up onto the green. I'm like, Mike, that could be very, very good. Get up to the green, it's 4 feet away. He's never made an eagle before. So his first eagle but his first eagle, he made the putt. So his first eagle was on a par 4. He guarded a 2. I was like, Mike, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen a 2 on a 4. I've seen a 1, allegedly. Seen it, heard about it. I was on site.
Yep.
But I just thought that was really cool.
3 feet away from the cup.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that he made his eagle. His first eagle was a 2 on a par 4. Other than that, everyone's round kind of sucked. So I was like, Mike, I mean, no matter what you do on the next 5 holes, it doesn't matter because you just made your first eagle.
Yeah,
it was a 2 on a par 4. Like, you'll be back. He played today somewhere. So I just wanted to shout him out. I know he's an avid listener of the podcast, so it was really cool.
While we're doing that, we can shout out our mutual friend Tim, who shot a personal best 66 this past weekend in a qualifier for a big tournament that they have in the area that he lives. So
that was a qualifier. That wasn't like the actual.
It wasn't the actual
event.
No, the real event.
Somebody at Tim Hunt.
He'll listen to this tomorrow. It's a 3-day event that they do at 3 different courses. I want to say next month.
Back-to-back days.
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever.
Saturday, Sunday, yeah.
That's cool. Does he play in this every year?
Yes. You have
First
to be
time he's qualified.
No, he's qualified. He's probably played in it at least a dozen times, I would imagine.
Okay. Yeah, he shared that scorecard. It was a nice looking scorecard. No bogeys.
It was a very nice scorecard.
Lots of circles.
We're texting during his round, and I think when he was 3 under, he stopped texting me.
Yeah, he locked in.
So I didn't know. I wanted to reach out to some of his playing. Luckily, I knew his playing partners. I wanted to reach out to see does this mean he's playing good or is he playing bad?
Yeah, it's like, okay, either just poop down his leg or he's locking in because he's
super upset. He's no longer 3 under. I don't want to rub it in. Or he's just going dumb right now and it's a birdie fest. And it was the latter. So shout out Tim.
Yeah. Nice job, Tim. Let me ask you, as a guy who's probably gone low before, are you like a superstitious guy? Like if you were, say, 3 under through the front 9
Yeah.
with a birdie on 10, are you texting your boys? Be like, I'm 4 under through 10. Like, let's go,
Yeah.
bro. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I can't
Unless
even think about it if I'm on the verge of breaking 80. Like, I'm not telling anybody.
nobody talk to me. Unless you birdie the first. If I birdie the first, I'm just going to go ahead and tell everybody that it's going to be an awful round. Because
That's what
anytime,
happens. Yeah.
pretty much any bad round I have, I birdie the first hole, and it's just awful after that point. So yeah, if I'm 300 through 9 holes or whatever, after the first birdie, unless it's the first, after the first birdie, I'm texting everybody and saying I'm going low. And then usually immediately on the next hole, hey, just made double. Never mind. And then that's usually the
Scratch that.
Yeah.
Made double. Got a double transfusion. We're going.
Well, that was
loose
going to
today.
happen. Yeah, that was going to happen regardless. And then I will say in our weekly league, we finally, so my buddy and I, we still don't really know how the points work. Nobody has been able to explain it to us, and there was no like sheet that went out explaining it. But there are points that are allotted. This was our 6th week, I think, maybe our 5th week. I think it was our 5th. And going into this past week, we had 10 points. And then on Thursday, we got 5 points. So now we have like 15 and a half points or something total.
But you have no idea how you got those points.
No idea. I mean, I shot 1 under again when I did that like 2 weeks ago. But no, my buddy played better. He broke 40 for the first time in these matches
in the league or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know. But we got points and we're still in last place, but it's a lot closer now than it was previously. So shout out League Night.
Yeah. Shout out to, where do you play League Night?
Eagle Landing.
Oh, where Heinzman was the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny story. He is now the pro of where I grew up in Kankakee Country Club. Like,
well, we'll have to make a trip.
He's originally from Illinois and lived in Florida for a long time. And it's just funny. I was like texting him about like people who I know that are members there, and I'm like, I've never played it, so maybe that's where we do the first Great Bogey podcast meetup with us three.
We can do that.
We just go to Kankakee, Illinois.
Yeah, there's a lot to do up there, right?
No, there's nothing to do.
All right, never mind.
It would actually be a bad spot to go, like on a golf trip.
Well, I mean, we could play golf.
Yeah, I mean, we could play 36 a day, no problem. There's courses out there. It's just not going to be, pine needles or mid pines.
Is there a cookout?
No, there's no cookout in Illinois. We'd be stuck to like Taco Bell. No. We go to the local spots. Don't get me wrong. I know the food around there. We go to you like Chinese food?
Yeah. You're gonna okay. You're gonna tell me what is the name of this town again?
Kankakee, Illinois. Kankakee.
So you're gonna tell me whatever you're about to tell me about this Chinese place. What is it called?
Great Wall Buffet.
Okay.
It's so good, dude. It's like the Chinese place to go to there.
Okay, yeah, that's because there's like, I think every town has a Great Wall Chinese buffet. Maybe. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive.
I've never seen one in Parker where I live. All right, so it's not every town. That being said, we'd go there. We would also go to this local. It's like a hot dog / like Italian beef, like French fry place, like car parks, all that stuff. It's called the Yaniki's, which is a local family name. Place is bomb. We'd go there, and I have to say we'd hit up breakfast at Blues Cafe. You a biscuits and gravy guy?
Yeah, love it.
Oh yeah, you'd have a good time.
Blues Cafe.
Blues Cafe, if they're still open. I think they are, but COVID took down a lot of restaurants, dude. I think that
Sure.
they were definitely open post COVID, but I thought I saw something of them closing.
Couldn't get past the Great Wall.
I don't think they're competing, but maybe. So that's where we would eat for sure.
All right.
On a golf trip.
Well, that's where we'll go. Let's book it.
Do you have any travel plan, Teddy, this year, this summer?
No, I mean, there's a trip I've heard about, and I'm kind of just waiting to see if they end up needing to fill a spot or anything.
Sure.
So I'm keeping my calendar open just in case. If I get that call, then obviously, that's what I'm going to be doing. So, but outside of that, no.
I imagine if that trip would have been booked planned a month later, you'd probably be going. You know what I'm saying? Because we'd have the podcast. He's talking about a Pinehurst trip that I'm going on for the 3 people listening. I had this podcast. It was my thing. We invited, Teddy's now part of it, Justin, and I already filled the group, and it's going to be hard pressed for somebody to back out of a all expenses paid Pinehurst trip. So
I mean, I agree, but stuff happens, and
it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't hold your breath. But
so tell you what,
be prepared to book a flight.
Yeah, I'll put it in pencil just in case.
Yeah.
And then maybe book a trip, for some other weekend outside of that one.
Have you played? So I know you played Southern Pines, Talamore, Mid Pines, Pine Needles. Where else have you played around there?
That was my first time.
That was it. I'm just curious because we're trying to book, filler rounds and all that stuff. It's like, where do we go in the afternoons? Of course, Mid Pines, Pine Needles, Southern Pines are all on the list. I think Tyler only really wants to do Southern Pines out of those. So we'll see, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do the Cradle like so many times too.
Yeah, I think we have it set for I think like the day we play number 2, if we just go get a little sloshed at like the bar, drinking transfusions afterwards,
and then go
to Cradle.
Yeah,
that sounds perfect. But I think we get Sunday, and I think Monday afternoon we have the Cradle booked. Like that's for sure when we're playing. I gotta imagine they'll have space for us to just be like, yeah, let's go play a few holes. Because I didn't get to play it when I was out there. I only watched. We did do the putting course, which was cool. I smoked David Barton on that too. DB the second, third. He's the third.
I think he's the third. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool property. We played number 5 when we were out there, which nobody wants to play number 5 when they go to Pinehurst unless they've played all the other courses, it seems like. But that's what we could get on. So
it's still a Pinehurst trip. So
yeah, we got through the clubhouse. We got to see the Payne Stewart statue, number 1 tee on number 2, all that good stuff. So
yeah.
All right, Teddy. Anything else that we were supposed to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Our CMOO is not here, so we don't know what we're doing. Chief Marketing and Organization Officer.
Yeah. No, I think happy for Xander. Happy he was able to get his first major win. Course was left a lot to be desired, but leaderboard made up for it, and there were some big names all weekend. So
actually, I do have a question for you, Teddy. Coming back to Xander. Okay. I think golf is so popular, even before COVID, it blew up extremely after COVID, right? With more amateur players being on the course. But it seems like the big boom before that was Tiger and his dominance, right? You go out, Tiger's going to win this tournament, and people want to go see that. Do you think people want to see that again? Like a dominant force in golf, or do they like you don't really know who's going to win every week? Scotty had his stretch there, but he didn't win this one, so it's not necessarily over. But
I mean, I think for the more casual fan, I Actually, no, I don't think so. I don't think anybody really wants necessarily a super dominant, one guy to, be the heavy favorite going into every single tournament. And I think maybe with Tiger, it was because he was so many different things. And he was the first to kind of really be, this different personality than what's typically on a golf course. So I think was kind of the major draw, that people were kind of okay with having just one person, being the heavy favorite. I think that's kind of the hate that Scotty gets, is because he's just a really good golfer. There's not really any groundbreaking thing that he's doing, or, the personality isn't there, which, it's kind of hard to compete with Tiger in that aspect. But no, I think going forward, I mean, just super competitive leaderboards, multiple storylines that can occur. I think ultimately that's what is going to make, golf more exciting going forward.
Yeah, I think too, some sort of getting all the players back together as much as possible, because
I mean,
one thing we didn't talk about is like players who missed the cut, and like John Rahm. I mean, like, is he out of form because he went to what's going on with him? Because he was on an absolute tear. He's one of these guys. You're like, John Rahm is going to be top 5 in the mix on Sunday, every tournament he's in, and then now he plays 5 times a year and nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to judge those guys, because I think it was easier in the past when it was just one tour, where somebody could have a rough week at a major, and it it wasn't amplified to the extent, especially when they could bounce back within the next couple of weeks and have a couple top 10s. You kind of change that narrative. I think it's difficult to do that with the two competing tours, because they are so different, with the team aspect, and how many holes they play, and the type of courses that they're playing. So I think it's easier to point that out as to being the reason why this person doesn't play well. But I think it's more where a guy just has an off week, and it just so happens to be one of the few tournaments he can play on the American soil and on the
with everyone else, all the players together. Yeah, that makes sense. Liv didn't have a bad showing. I'm not saying, like that's the cause of why John Rahm didn't make the cut. He had a bad Thursday and did his best on Friday to get it done, but it just didn't happen. So,
yeah. I mean, I think, if it was more, because it seems like it's always, maybe one or two Liv guys, and it's not necessarily the same for each major. And some tournaments, it's a couple more. But I think if it was the case of every Liv player either misses cut or just does
just nowhere to be
horrible
found on Sundays,
yeah, nobody makes top 30, then that would be an argument. But the fact that there's always at least a handful of guys that are at least.
Bryson's been in the mix to 2 majors this year, Masters and in the PGA. Dean Burmeister was in the mix. He just didn't do much today.
No, he didn't.
Cam Smith was around, but he went, I think, over par today. He's probably one of the Liv guys I want to see actually win some tournaments. Is Cam Smith. We share a name. He's young. He's got a little personality to him. With the Australian, the mullet, the shoeies, all that good stuff. Liv's next tournament's in Houston. It's probably going to be 1,000 degrees. So good luck to them. I'll probably watch it because it's on American soil. It's going to be easier to watch than, Singapore at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday or Saturday.
I agree.
Because I'm in bed by like 9 o'clock, so. All right. Well, that was just a question I had that popped in my head. I wanted to get asked to our TL2 emotional support animal. For those listening, make sure you're liking and subscribing on YouTube and Spotify. I've said this the last 2 episodes. We're working on a rebrand, so see that coming. We got a new name in the pipeline, as well as working on a logo.
We don't want to say the name yet, right?
I think without Justin, no, I wouldn't have a
Sure.
problem with it if all 3 of us were here. But I also kind of like the suspense and really just like when we start our video next time or when we're ready, it's the new logo, it's the new name, and all that stuff. Kind of surprising, and then starting the episode with that. But thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you're going to our social media sites, giving us a like, a follow, whatever you can do to help support us. Teddy, we'll be talking later this week. Probably end up texting you again about midnight tonight, just with random things.
Later the better.
Yeah. So we will see you all next week. Congratulations to Xander Schauffele again on his first major victory. So, all right, Teddy, have a good night, bud.
All right, man.